Presentation in English, but later on for the Q&A, that's alright if you want to do it in other languages, bahasa Jawa or bahasa Indonesia, according to Pak Widodo. Alright, let's just start. Thank you for being here. Good evening, Pak Widodo. Good evening, our fellow friends. It is such an honor to do our presentation in front of Pak Widodo, of course, our great lecturer that we all admire and look up to. First of all, let me introduce our team. We are from Group 8, and my name is Rosie, and then the one standing right next to me is, and then right next to Ante is,
I'm Devinda,
and then on the far right is, thank you. Our topic tonight is actually the fundamental of curriculum and learning strategies. A little bit of ourselves, our backgrounds is actually faculty members of university or Universitas Prasetya Mulia, and then we teach business communications, which is business English and emphasize on soft skills. For example, the subjects that we teach in our campus or in our course, we teach critical thinking and then critical reading, and then of course discussion techniques, yeah? And then collaborative learning, and then how to do presentation, effective presentations, persuasive presentations, and then of course writing, yeah? Business reports, business proposals, business plans, and speaking in public or public speaking. Okay? Hence, we chose our title for our presentation tonight is Applying 21st Century Curriculum. Let me find it. There you go. Applying 21st Century Curriculum and Project-Based Learning for Business Communication Courses at University Prasetya Mulia or Universitas Prasetya Mulia. Okay, let's get to the main topic, which is going to be delivered by Pak Adi.
So, good evening, everyone. I will be the main presenter for this presentation, but later on, during the research methodology and the analysis and discussion, will be delivered by Ibu Dewi and Pak Adi. I just want to know, since this is the heart of all the fundamentals, which is curriculum and instructions, I just want to know if everyone here teaches the curriculum 2013. Raise your hands if you are teaching the curriculum 2013.
Kurikulum 2013.
Right, some of you do, right? Okay, great. Because some of these theories will be coming from that curriculum. Curriculum 2013 is actually a kind of ingredient made by an organization that I will present to you. Probably you will know later on, right? Okay. So first of all, my name is Andi Syafat. Yes, I am a faculty member at Prasetya Mulia, but also I am also a professional photographer. So follow my Instagram at
as long as you follow me back.
Yes, I will. Okay, so the main presentation that we're going to discuss is about our research paper, which is this Applying 21st Century Curriculum and Project-Based Learning for Business Communication Courses at Universitas Prasetya Mulia. So our presentation will be delivered into 4 sections or sequences. First of all, we are going to talk about the why. The why consists of the background, the problem statement, and the research objectives. And then the what. The what will be focusing more on the literature review, which is the books that we have selected, the theories that is behind the research paper, the how, the research methodology, analysis and discussion, and the next, our conclusion and recommendation. Now, our research objective will be focusing more on our part as a faculty member, which is our class, which is in business communication. Now, let's talk about the why first. Okay, there are three things that I would like to highlight because this is the essential part where I have to explain to you about the background, what's the condition right now in the world, in Indonesia right now. And you know that there are issues that there is a gap between knowledge and skill gained in school and the knowledge and skill needed for life and work. As you know, it's not only happening in Indonesia, it's also happening outside Indonesia. Even in the US, there are still schools who cannot bridge the skills needed for the workforce. Second, right now a lot of companies are targeting people who have creative minds. Yeah? Because some of the jobs are taken by machines and everything is automated, right? And third will be, I've already mentioned to you that many routine jobs are replaced by machines. Now looking at this phenomena, let's take a look at the era that we are in, which is, we are right now in the Industrial Revolution 4.0. As you know, the jargon of the Industrial Revolution, it was coined during the first Industrial Revolution 1.0, which is actually a movement from the agricultural life to the industrial life. So Industrial Revolution 4.0, what is it actually? So Industrial Revolution 4.0 is actually a situation where us humans are connected with our devices right now. Our technology and human is what? Is one right now. If you leave your house and leave your handphone, how do you feel? You get anxiety, right? It's like you've lost your what? Yeah, it's like you've lost something, right? It's like you're missing something, right? Because everything is there in your handphone. Your bank is there, right? Your what else? What else do you have in your smartphone? Transportation method, right? As you can see right now, later on there will be cars that don't need to be driven, right? Self-driving is controlled by AI, artificial intelligence, right? And here, right? One of the things happening in Indonesia right now, you cannot leave this without it, right? If there is no tukang ojek, right, you will get freaked out, right? You get anxiety, right? This also becomes our friend right now, right? It's called fintech, financial technology. It's happening right now in our life, right? Because this is the future of 4.0, which is we are humans are connected with our gadgets, our devices. Okay. Now this is the sad part. Talking about Indonesia, we need to look at the industry sector in Indonesia. Now, based on the research, a survey done by Badan Pusat Statistik, is that, well, there is a good side to it. First of all, there is a decrease of unemployment for people who graduate from elementary, junior high, high school, and vocational. Decrease. It's a good thing. However, there is a really sharp increase, which is 25% on students who graduate from the bachelor degree. Right? That's so sad, right now. Because what's the reason? I've told you before in the beginning, there is a gap, right? There is a gap between the skills needed at school and the skills needed in the workplace, in real life, right? Okay. Looking at this situation, it's also, remember that it also happening in the US also. In 2008, we had a global crisis. It happened first in America, but it spread out, right? In the US, there was this big company called General Motors that had to lay out 1 million people in their company, right? Even Citibank, the largest bank in the world, had to lay out around 40,000 people in their bank. It's a large company. But if you look at the pattern, who were the people that were dismissed or who were late from their work. These people did not have the creative minds because at that time, the ones who were kept in the company are the ones who had creative minds, right? They could contribute something to the company because a lot of the work that can be done by machine, were controlled by the machines itself, computers and everything. Everything was automated, right? Okay. So, looking at this phenomena, so there's an organization called National Association of College and Employers. Identified in 2002, they identified these 20 qualities of graduates. If you can take a look, there are 20. If you take a look at number 17, GPA, or in Indonesia is IPK, right? It's still one of the qualities graduates, right? It's still. But let's take a look at, as years go by, let's take a look. Where is it now? There's no GPA anymore, right? Okay. People or companies, big companies won't see whether you are cum laude, 3.8 in GPA. They will look at it. What they want to see are these complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, until cognitive flexibility. What is actually cognitive flexibility? I'll tell you a little bit what is cognitive flexibility. It's your ability to think to think fast, and you can adapt with new knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So these are the phenomena and the skills needed for the 21st century in the workplace, right? Okay. So we believe this would prepare us, right? We believe that having a straight A, having a 3-point at cum laude would prepare you for real life. Right? So, are these enough? Based on a comment by the Secretary General of Education in the U.S. in 2000, if I'm not mistaken, it was in 2014, he mentioned about this is a phenomenon that we are looking at. Actually, parents, teachers are preparing children to solve problems we don't even know there are problems yet, right? We are preparing for children for jobs that don't yet exist. If you look back in 2000, right? And if you look right now in 2019, if you ask a small kid around 5 years old, 10 years old, what would be their dream?
YouTuber.
Exactly. A YouTube content creator. In 2000, in 1990, what is that? Parents. Right? Right? Exactly. Right? So, we are preparing also our children to use technologies that have not been invented yet. So this is something that we're not prepared for, right? So, here are our problem statement. Now, the problem statement relates with this phenomenon. We're going to compare with our duties as faculty members at Universitas Prasetya Mulia. First is the curriculum of business communication course in UPM. Is in line with the skills needed in the 21st century learning. So we're going to highlight, this is kind of a self-reflection for us. And then have the learning strategies made the students in UPM understand the materials of BizCom course better. And third, are the curriculum and the learning strategies resulting in the students' readiness for Industrial Revolution 4.0, right? Okay, and this is the research objective that we did. We tried to make an attempt to study whether our curriculum, our course curriculum in business communication is in line with the skills needed in the 21st century. And then we studied whether the learning strategies or the instructions are able to make students understand the materials better. And third, to study whether the curriculum and the learning strategies are resulting in the students' readiness for the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Now, this is our literature review. These are the books that we selected for this purpose of the research. So there is a good book, which is Curriculum 21. You could download it in the internet since it's available already by Hayley Jacobs, one of the books that even Benny was using. It's still related with our with our fundamental in curriculum and learning strategies. And third, this is a book, PBL for the 21st Century by Susie Boss by EIE. And third, we want to highlight on how, this is a good book also by Mark Frenzy. I think it's available in PDF also right now. It's about how you should teach digital natives, our children who were born in 2000 and are are exposed with technology when they were born. Right? Okay. So there are two aspects of the education of the 21st century that we need to highlight on. First of all, take a look at the world right now. Right? We used to teach content. We used to teach content. I believe that you still teach content. Content right now is like a dinosaur. Why? Every 2 years, it used to be 10 years. A textbook, you could use a textbook for 10 years in the 1990s. But now, knowledge, content grows, right? So what do? Right? We need to know how to teach the skills instead of the content. During high school, what do you still remember about the content? What do you still remember during your chemistry class? What? Yeah, you didn't take chemistry. Probably all you remember was who was your favorite teacher, right? Who sat beside you? Who was that pretty girl in front of you? Right? Who was that handsome boy? That's all you remember. The content? No. The skills, did you get the skills? Probably you did get the skills, but implicitly. It was not explicitly, oh, you are good at critical thinking, oh, you are good at collaboration. Teachers didn't say that, right? Now it needs to be focused in our teaching right now in the classes. Now, the children, who are they? Right now, our kids, they are digital natives, right? There are 3 types of people right now. Digital natives, digital immigrant, and digital dinosaur. Which one are you? Digital natives are kids, yeah? Probably they are called millennials right now, but these are the kids who were born in front of them when they were in the hospital. Their mother was using an iPad, the dad was using an iPhone. When they came out of the mother's womb, he was texting using a BlackBerry, right? In front of the hospital, there's a flat screen TV, full HD, right? That's the digital native, right? And according to Mark Frenzy, that these kids, if you give them a black and white paper-based activity, they will get really bored, right? Okay, now let's continue. So, what kind of curriculum should we prepare for them in the 21st century? As you know, that's why I asked you whether you've used the curriculum 2013. Now, this organization actually, well, the curriculum 2013 was inspired by the P21. P21 is the Partnership for 21st Century Learning. It's a non-profit organization that was established, if I'm mistaken, in 2010. They made a framework so educators, practitioners, teachers could develop a framework and a curriculum in their school, university, so it focuses more on the 21st century needs. So this is actually the output. This is the outcomes. What are the outcomes? The skills needed. What are they? Learning and innovation skills. The 4 C's. Critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity. This is focusing on attaining media. Remember in 2014, 2019, adults, children, during the political era of Jokowi and Prabowo, we had a lot of hoax, right? People were not educated with this. This skill will help people to attain knowledge, information before they digest, they make a decision with the information. This is that skill. Yeah? And then, yeah, di situ gak ada character building. There's no character. Which one do you think is the character building? This. Life and career skills. Life and career skills focuses on leadership. Focuses on flexibility. There's this skill. Flexibility and adaptability. Flexibility and adaptability is actually character building. Yeah? And what are these? These are the support systems. Yeah? The support system that could make the output achievable. What are the support systems? The standards and assessments. Right? Are you still using Ujian Nasional as a benchmark? Or are you using a 21st century assessment? The curriculum and instructions. Yeah? Are you still using a traditional or an advanced strategy? Right? The professional development. Do you, as a teacher, get a lot of training by your principals every month? Professional development. Learning environments. Take a look at your facility at school. Is it reflecting the 21st century? Or is it still reflecting the 19th century or even the 20th century classroom? Right? That's a learning environment. So, thank you very much. Now, in order for that curriculum to be able to achieve, it means that you need a learning strategy. You need a teaching method that supports the curriculum itself. Now, I'd like to share about my experience. So, in 2013, I was sent to the US to learn about project-based learning. So these are actually the people behind the work of project-based learning. So these people are from the BIE. BIE stands for Buck Institute for Education, located in California. So I had a chance to have a one-week conference focusing on how to do PBL. So this is me in that workshop. At the end of the workshop, I had to present about one project that you would like to share. So, by the way, I did it fast. I did it really fast. And one of the bules asked me, "Hey, Andre, why were you able to create such a great project?" You want to know what the project is? You know what this is? This is the face of Jakarta, right? This is the face of Jakarta, right? So I presented about this project. So the project title is "What a Mess." So the highlight was on these grades, yeah, kelas 6 sama kelas 12. Yeah, so grade 6 and grade 12. So the focus, the subjects were social studies, yeah, language arts, yeah. And what was the project about? How can we solve the traffic problem in Jakarta? Project-based learning, it's a good way to make students what? Have a problem-solving skills. And when the bully asked me, why were you able to create a project fast? One answer that struck me at that moment, because Indonesia has a lot of problems. It's good. This method is good for Indonesians, because one thing that you're asking your students to know the problem, the real problem around your neighborhood, right? In project base, you do projects based on the neighborhood, not somewhere else. Let's say, for example, you're studying about environment, lingkungan hidup. You're not studying about the Sahara. You're studying about your neighborhood, using the content about environment, right? Okay. So you may there's a good explanation about PBL. So go ahead and take a look at the YouTube. So the title is PBL Explained. And then what is not project-based learning? It's not a lecture or a textbook. Again, it's not a textbook-driven kind of teaching. It's not an add-on activity. What is an add-on activity? It's an activity where you finish a lesson and there's an activity. Right? It's not like that. it's not done alone. Project-based learning focuses on collaboration. By the way, this is a good example. This classroom, taught by Mr. Widodo, is a good example of project-based learning. Why? Because everyone gets a chance to do their project, right? We are doing our project, which is focusing on the fundamentals of curriculum instruction. Other groups are focusing also on their part, but the goal is focusing on the fundamentals of education. That's a reflection of PBL, right? Okay, facts are right answer based? No, it's not. There's no right answer. Yeah. Every student has the right to give their opinions, to give their answers based on a good argumentative. It's not disconnected from life. It's not disconnected from standards. So you still are using the curriculum. You are still using the curriculum curriculas, for example, if you are using that, right? It's not isolated from today's technology, right? So what does the research say? So these are the things that the research say, right, about PBL. And this is, I will explain to you later on if we have time. This is actually the framework of the PBL itself. So as an output, the project-based learning is actually a reflection in today's world where, remember that we're talking about the skills gained in the workplace and the skills gained in school. This is that bridge. We are teaching the students to be able to work in an environment where the project management is done. Right now, in big companies, you need this, right? Okay. Now, this is an example of what the students can do during the PBL. So they are put in roles of certain roles, right? A real application role. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. Let's talk about a little bit. How many minutes? 20 minutes already. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll do this fast. Now, PBL was developed in the 21st century, but it turns out the theory behind it was in 1960. That's why I tried to look up psychologists, education experts who had that thinking. The thinking was done in 1962 by this guy, Lev Vygotsky. He's one of the education experts at that time who had that thinking. Now, from that I'll explain to you later because this is kind of long. Okay, but so what is actually his thinking? His thinking, there are 2 points in his thinking. That some students may require, remember that there are 2 types of students. You cannot, remember, there's always a judgment from teachers in a traditional school that, oh, he's a B student, oh, he's a C student, oh, he's a stupid student. That's not right. There are only 2 students. Students who still need support and students who are capable, right? The ones who are not ready yet, we need to scaffold them. That's why there is a cliche on how can I be a good teacher? You need to be patient. That's the key actually, right? So, according to Vygotsky, learning has a social base. Students learn through, so take a look, this is PBL. Students learn through discussion, modeling, instruction from their parents, adults, peers, and acquaintances, and learning takes place in the student's zone of proximal development. What is that? Which is the area of challenge and opportunity between what a student can do independently and what can be learned with guided assistance. Can you be patient for a minute? So actually, ZPD or zone, yeah, I know. ZPD, what is it? When we learn, we are in this state, right? Confusion. I'll give you an example. You still remember when you first, who drives a car or a bike or a motorcycle? All right, motorcycle or a bike. The first time that you tried a motorcycle, were you confused? You don't know where the brakes are, you don't know how to turn left or right. Yeah, but mama right now always turn left, right? You were in a confusion state, right? So what did you do? You might ask a friend, or in my case, when I first learned to drive a car, I went to a driving school, right? During that stage of the driving school, I was in this dependence. I was dependent on my driving skills. After the driving school was over, I'm still not good at driving the car. Who helped me? I need counseling. But my father knew that I was not good at driving, so he scaffolded me. He gave more instructions, more practice every day until I am independent. So basically, Vygotski's theory of learning is that human beings, at the end, when they learn, they will become independent humans. And if you look at the internet, Ki Hajar Dewantara's theory is similar with Vygotsky. Right? So, that is the explanation from me, from the background, which is why. Now we're going to focus on the research methodology. So this time, finally, Ms. Deborah is going to present, and I'm going to. Oh, we don't know. Can I take a drink back?
If anyone will try,
Thank you. Okay, now let me do quickly the research methodology based on our problem statements. If you still remember, Pak Andre have already mentioned the 3 problem statements that we try to raise here in our research. The first problem statement is about whether the curriculum in business communication course at Universitas Prasetya Mulia in line with the skills needed in the 21st century. Okay? And then the second problem statement is try to find out whether the learning strategies that we apply in teaching business communication course can help the students to understand the materials better. Okay? And the third problem statement is about to study whether all of those, the curriculum together with the learning strategies, can help students ready to face the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So for those problem statements, we are doing these methodologies, 3 methodologies, 1 methodology for each problem statement. The first methodology is the literature research study. So we try to compare the curriculum in business communication course with the curriculum that is set by the P21 framework. Okay? And then the second methodology, we are using survey method with questionnaire as our data collection method. The questionnaire here is taken from Fiori. What is Fiori? Fiori is the learning management system that is used by Prasetya Mulia right now. There are some questions in the questionnaire to evaluate 2 things. The first one, to evaluate the topic. The goal of this questionnaire is to find out whether the students can comprehend the topic better. Okay? So each point here will be on the scale of 1 to 7. In the first point, topic evaluation questionnaire, score 7 means that the student understand well, or the student fully comprehend the topic given. And the second point is to evaluate the faculty member or the lecturer or the teacher's performance in the class. In that evaluation, we will find out whether the students not only understand the topic but also enjoy the class. Okay, and then the third methodology to reach and to answer our third problem statement is the survey method using interviews with the alumni. Here we are interviewing 7 alumni of Universitas Prasetya Mulia to find out whether what they have learned in Universitas Prasetya Mulia will help them to face the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Here is the appearance of Fiori on material understanding evaluation. To evaluate the faculty members' performance in the class. Faculty member encourages students to be independent. So the question is, did the faculty member encourage students to be independent? The students will answer 1 to 7. If the answer is 7, it means that the student completely agree that the faculty member encourages students to be independent. So there is a list of questions until students gain additional knowledge from the course. Well, now we have come to analysis and discussion. Let Pak Ardi do this one.
Thank you, Dewi. So, good evening, everyone. Are you still here?
Yes.
So, my part is the analysis and discussion. So, as it was mentioned before by Andri and Dewi, that our research has 3 objectives. So, we did several analysis and we did several discussions in order to study, in order to reach the research objectives. So the first thing that we did was to study whether the business communication course curriculum is in line with the 21st century learning. As you can see here, it is displayed. These are the criteria of the 21st century learning, and these are the skills that are formulated by the P21, and these are our curriculum. So we did a comparison. The main reason why we compare the criteria, the skills in the P21 and the curriculum, we want to look for compatibility. Yeah, we want to check whether the curriculum, the criteria and the skills in the P21 are reflected in the business communication curriculum. So I'm going to highlight one materials that is given in the business communication course, which is critical thinking. Critical thinking. So one of the curriculum that is given, one of the materials that is given in the business communication course is an invitation to critical thinking. So I'm sure we're all aware that critical thinking is an essential element of the 21st century learning. In the business communication course emphasizes on critical thinking. Yeah, the students learn to initiate, to apply critical thinking. Yeah, they learn to understand and to analyze critical thinking from the barriers to critical thinking due to basic human tendencies, use of language, and logical fallacies. So the students learn to analyze, the students learn to apply, the students learn to initiate critical thinking. Yeah? And one other example of the activity is the students also learn the aspects that are needed to be analyzed in a written text. Andri mentioned about hoax. Yeah? So in the business communication course, we teach our students to analyze an article, to review an article. Yeah? The aspects such as objectivity, subjectivity, credibility, the tone, the purpose, the motivation of the writer. That way, the student will understand whether this article is credible or not. And then another example in terms of creativity, as we can see here, one of the skills here mentioned creativity and innovation. Also in business communication course, the business communication course facilitates the student to design and to formulate a business plan. So we let our students to be creative by designing their own business plan. So, of course, before we let our students develop their creativity, they are equipped with the knowledge about business plan itself. Right? So, the second one, the second objective of our research is to find out, to study whether the student comprehend the student's comprehension on the topics, whether they comprehend the topics in the business communication. So what we did was we used an instrument. Budeli mentioned about this before. We in Prasetya Mulia, we have a learning management system that we call Fiori. At the end of the semester, the student must fill out a questionnaire, evaluating their comprehension on the topics, and of course, the performance of the faculty member. So, as you can see here, I hope that you can see this. I hope this is big enough for you. Yeah? Okay, yeah, so the average of the score is 6 out of 7. So, and then also, this is the topic evaluasi. Yeah? And then also here, as you can see, the average of the score is also 6. So we can conclude that this is also represents the student's satisfaction, level of satisfaction of the delivery method, the learning strategy, and the topics given. The last one. And then we also did an interview to reach our third objective. Our third objective is to find out whether the students to study whether the students are ready to face the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So in order to reach that objective, we interviewed our alumni, 7 alumni. They have achieved their success. Yeah. So some of them, one of them is the CEO of Sambuhachi, and then a vice president of HSBC Bank. From their answers, you can read their answers on our paper. We will share that with you. From the answers that they gave, we can conclude that they found the curriculum beneficial when they got out from Prasetya Mulia, when they went to the jungle. They can survive. They could survive. That's puyo. I'm sure you're familiar with puyo. This looks tasty, yeah. So puyo, rafaloka, right? So these are the alumni that we interviewed. Yeah, Eugene Patricia. One of them is Eugene Patricia. He's the co-founder of puyo. So we can conclude. Yeah, we can conclude from all the analysis that we did, we can conclude that the business communication curriculum and the 21st century learning have similar ultimate objective, which is to prepare the students so they can respond effectively and independently, and then to, of course, for their personal empowerment and professional development, so they can face the challenges in the real situation in the 21st century, and they can maximize present and future opportunities. So that was my part, and then now the conclusion and the recommendation will be presented by Ibu. Thank you.
I don't think that I am going to say much after this, so because we are really way off the time. Where is it? Next. Yeah, all right. So basically, those are the conclusions. Yeah, and this is the recommendations. I can put up the slides again later on. Yeah, we can go back to the slides again. Now we reach the end of our presentations. Thank you for listening, Pak Widodo and fellow friends. We are going to open the discussion session or QA sessions. Thank you very much. You can start. Yeah, Pak Dr.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I really appreciate what you have presented today. 2 thumbs up for you. Thank you. Because I know that this is very high content. For me, at least, I need 3 months workshop to understand this. Yeah. So I would like to pinpoint some critical points from your presentation because I think it would be scale up our class. Yeah, to be better understanding. The first one is about the design of the curriculum. Yeah, for example, if we compare with understanding by design, we have a backward design. So in backward design, we prepare from the back, right? So how to relate with PBL? Yeah, how to relate UBD with PBL? So I think this is very important to understand because teachers will find it difficult to make relation.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much for the
That's
question.
May I have the other question?
Yes, sure. That's number 1, number 2 then?
Yeah, the second is about the essential thing of project-based learning is in the beginning. Yeah, that's really different. In the beginning, we have to create what we call essential questions, right? The problem is how to generate essential questions, how to help our students to develop essential questions. Maybe you experience in the university student. I experienced in kindergarten and primary level. So how to generate essential question, especially for them with active learning, something like that.
All right, thank you very much for those 2 questions. And then Andre or our friends or I will answer those 2 questions first.
Pastor, will you help me? What is this? I forgot the second part of the. So okay, if this is actually one of the theory also behind the curriculum and instruction, which is UBD. Yes, I mentioned during the PBL explanation what UBD. What is UBD? Understanding by Design was created by 2 guys. One of the guys, Jay McIntyre. You can find in the internet. Go click and keyword UBD PDF. There's a book called Understanding by Design. The idea of the Understanding by Design, as a teacher, when you plan, do not start with the planning. Do not start with the planning. Pasako's question related with PBL, UBD is actually related with PBL. When you create a project, you should focus on the goal first. Sorry, this is the goal, or you could call it the standards, whatever, right? The output, right? And then second is the assessment. So you need to think in PBL, you need to think about what project that I'm going to give the students. That's the first thing. You don't start with the planning. The planning comes at the end. That's why I know that some of you, can I use bahasa now? I'll use bahasa now. Ya. Jadi gini, Bapak Ibu kan yang mengalami sendiri sekarang di sekolah-sekolah itu adalah harus ngerjain KPP, harus ngumpulin kepala sekolah ini, ya kan? Sekarang juga ini curhatan perwakilan guru ke menteri yang baru, ya kan? Dan katanya berguna atau enggak? Ternyata enggak juga, gitu kan? Enggak ada relevansinya RPP sama pengajaran di dalam classroom, gitu kan? Terus apa gunanya RPP, ya kan? Makanya everything needs to be simplified. Ya, sebenarnya kan RPP tujuan awalnya itu apa sebenarnya? Membuat segala sesuatu simple sehingga kalian sebagai guru bisa mengajarkannya secara efektif dan efisien, ya kan? Nah, oleh sebab itu, understanding by design, again, I'm going back to English again. Campur-campur ya. So, the idea is you start with the standard first. Outputnya apa dulu? Projectnya apa dulu? Kalau di PBL, projectnya apa dulu yang mau diciptakan? Contoh yang tadi yang saya kasih itu mata pelajaran IPS, ya, tentang lingkungan hidup. Nah, kira-kira anak-anak di sekitar misalnya di sekitar Cilanda, di sekitar sini ada masalah apa? Oh, masalah macet, oh masalah polusi, ya kan? Itu yang bisa di-tackle sama anak-anak, ya kan? Setelah itu assessmentnya apa aja nih, ya? Ya, terus habis itu baru deh the planning, right? And then the question from Pak Sabto. Pak Sabto's question was related with, nah kalau di universitas sih gampang, anak-anaknya udah independen, ngerjain PBL gampang. Ketika saya di conference itu, malah disarankan PBL itu sudah masuk ke anak-anak, even in the early childhood. Ya kalau by the way saya dan Pak Sabto itu alumni high school Indonesia. Jadi Pak Sabto, ya saya sempat mengajarkan guru-gurunya Pak Sabto